Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Hurley Investments 11th of August market view commentary. I was going to say a couple quick things, but I'm going to kind of keep them to myself for tonight. But welcome to our commentary. We're glad that you guys are here with us. We do have some more information to give you in regards to Amazon Worldwide Services and their issues with money blocks and Apex. I'm going to take that one out of there because I don't really have that completely verified. But it looks like we're going to be up and running by the end of the week. So what does that mean? The big question that people have been texting me or that I've been calling about, how have we been placing trades? And the easiest thing is to tell you, welcome to the 1980s. And it's rather simple, but it is cumbersome, which means that there could be some issues. But let me go over really quickly with just the people who have asked, because I want to make sure go through what's happening and the way that it works. So plain and simple, I have to call in orders, which means, hey, we want to sell our Apple puts because Apple was taking off last week. So we're like, hey, we no longer need them. We want to get those sold off. So I have to call in the orders for Hurley Investments, sell all 210 Apple long puts. Once they're in, they have to be grouped into a block order. And a block order is 10,000 shares or 1,000 contracts. So this is where it might take a while for getting an order placed, where they have to sit it on the exchange or sit it within money block. But the good news is they're big enough that it hasn't been that big of an issue or a problem. Once they get a block order, money block sends it to the floor traders. And the simple thing, I guess the easy way to say it, it sends to the floor traders, and the floor traders do their hand signal. The orders are confirmed. The floor traders send it back to money block. Money block registers the trades by hand into individual accounts. Send me a notification, and then the positions show up in your accounts. I tried talking about it last week, and the biggest question that people kept asking me was, well, Kevin, why don't they have a backup server? Or why don't they then go to Azure and do a backup that way? And the short answer, and they're 100% correct, they could do something like that. But once you have an infection or a virus, or the best way to say it is once it goes into their system, if you have one bad apple, it does no good to use another type of arm or hand or utensil to be pulling those apples out. So That is the reason they said, hey, we actually have our own servers, but until we found how it's happened, why it's happened, and make sure there's not a problem, we don't want to open it up again, having a back door that then causes a real problem. Someone asked if you consider changing brokers. Of course I have. Here's where I feel, not that I'm okay, but here's why we're still where we're at. They have made, I can't even type it. We're just going to say it. They have made exceptions for Hurley Investments. At one point, everything was shut down, period. No trades in and out. No nothing, right? Nobody can do anything. With that said, they have made some pretty good exceptions for Hurley Investments. Well, Kevin, I can't see my positions. I can't either. I just get a total at the end of every day and an Excel spreadsheet that lets me see where we're at. Well, Kevin, we should be compensated. I discussed this last week as well. It's really hard to be compensated when the market's down 2% and then up 2%. So it's been a flat market through these time periods. It's really hard to be compensated when Meta is up over 10%. When Micron is up 12%. When Nvidia is up 9%. When Palantir is up 13% as of last Friday. When Bank of America is back to break even. We've had such a unique run in some positions as they've been going up. And again, we could take Apple is now up 10%. We still have Boeing that's up 5.5%. So because we've been stock picking, we can't receive compensation for beating the market. There's no emotional distress. Well, Kevin, Disney is down 7.45% roughly. But we have 120 puts in place that we had in place before the problem. For getting money in and out, they've made exceptions on that. Google's up to 200. I mean, we don't have a leg to stand on for the most part because we've been in positions that have been holding their own or been going higher. Let me take a quick, the worst one would be Jeppy, but it's not even down 1%. And Realty Income is up about 1%. Those almost offset each other. Visa's down, but we have Visa protected. Verizon's on the high end. It's right. It's also up, I guess, 2.5%. So that's why we won't receive any compensation or have an issue with FINRA on the monetarily side. As of right now, no money, no social security numbers, no addresses, no info has left MoneyBlock from the hack. Everything that was supposed to happen to prevent anything from leaving has happened. It shut itself down, and now we just have a matter of Amazon Worldwide Services scrubbing computers in San Francisco through Apex, scrubbing primarily. I think the way that it works is a server center, not an individual server. It's a server center for Los Angeles, Redlands, California, Salt Lake City, Chicago, and Chicago has the servers for each index, CBOE, NASDAQ, New York Stock Exchange. Those also have to be scrubbed. And we're talking server centers, blocks of hundreds of servers are being gone through. The short answer right now, and this is a big one because this is billions of dollars, tens of billions of dollars, most likely. FBI, FINRA, Securities and Exchange Commission. Boy, they listed a bunch of others. Local and state authorities are looking for the digital footprint. You can't log in without getting without leaving some kind of a footprint. And it's kind of funny. I'm going to say local, state, and other Fed authorities are looking for the digital footprint. You asked me, someone said you could be racist. I don't think so. I would bet again that it's China. As we've had issues before, as I've had issues before, it's always China. Could it be Russia? Could it be someone else? Yes, I do not know, but I'm saying China. And last but not least, and please accept this as common sense. And I'm going to be, this is just the common sense. Please don't think that your social security number, birth date, address, kids, work history isn't already on the dark web. With all due respect, all of our stuff is already on there through banks that have been hacked, through credit cards that have been hacked. In fact, whether you know it or not, one of the 3 big FICO score centers, I want to believe it was, well, give me a quick second. I'm going to do my research so I don't sound too ridiculous. It's not TransUnion. One of the credit bureaus that gives you your credit score was also hacked. And all of that information went off. If you have a credit score, I want to think it was Experian, Bill, but I didn't find it offhand. If you give me a quick second, I will. But the short answer is, what credit bureau was hacked? And Equifax, massive breach in 2017. Approximately 147.9 million Americans and lost some British Canadian citizens had a breach exploiting access to sensitive information, including names, social security numbers, birth dates, addresses, and in some cases, driver's license numbers and credit card numbers. The breach was not discovered by Equifax for several months after the initial intrusion. So yes, I mean with it's Equifax, and it's Equifax. Yep. So all of our information has already been out there on the web since 2017, or if you've got a breach from a credit card or a bank, just know your information is out there on the dark web already, which means really monthly you should be looking at your credit score. And if something seems off or weird, you've been breached, expect it, and it's time to get it fixed. That's just where we seem to be at right now in society. That would be the best way to describe what we're up against or what the new normal is for being breached. So, any questions? Let me open it up for you guys for any questions that you would like answered that I hope I can answer, but I won't guarantee it. By the way, Bosserman, how are you feeling? You can send that to me directly. Just how are you feeling? So, Kevin, nobody has left accounts. Nothing has left accounts. No, right now, no email addresses, social security numbers, birth dates, address, kids, work history, license numbers. Nothing was left. It's all there. Info for tax return available. I will have to call it in and I will get that taken care of for the individual. Just type that in. I'm writing that down. I haven't paid mine either, so I need to work on that here coming up. Postpone my taxes. So, yes, nothing is left. When I mean nothing, zero. No names. It got shut down really quick. Information for tax return, I will call it in and ask. But I actually don't know for sure on that one. But if it's not, we should have it up by next week at the latest, if not on Friday. Any other questions? Credit monitoring. I forgot who just typed that in. Yes, you should be doing credit monitoring every month. That's just the world we are living in right now. Everything is out there, so please monitor your credit. I sometimes when this happens, companies offer to pay for a year of LifeLock or something like that. I don't know if anything is being offered, but I might suggest it. Someone just typed in, let's need a loan, freeze your credit, be all three services. That's an idea. I don't know. I use my credit cards. What does that mean exactly? To freeze your credit? Is that going to lock up credit cards or what does that do? So unless you need a loan, freeze your credit via all three services. Don't get info or into your credit info. Gotcha. Thank you for you too. I did that. No one can open up any new accounts in your name. Perfect. So yes, those are some things that if this has you concerned, please let us know. Bosserman, I'm still waiting to see how you feel. Bosserman went through a pretty good surgery, so let's give Bosserman amazing that you're still here with us. We appreciate you, and we wish you a speedy recovery. Good to hear. In fact, Jim, I don't know if you guys can see, but you've got 3 people that just chimed in. Get well soon. I hope you're feeling better, bossy men. So, one person, you're a bossy man, not a bosser man, a bossy man. Thank you. And hope you feel better. So, there's your community. Glad that you're feeling better. Thank goodness. One more. Me too. Get well soon. Good to hear. Okay. I just want to make one other comment because it was brought to me. Someone asked, Kevin, why are we in the MAG 7 or MAG 11-ish as a concentrated position? Why are we in these ones minus Netflix and Tesla, basically, right? The MAG 11 are more of some of the microns and some of the outliers, but why are we in the MAG 7 or the MAG 11? And just so everyone knows, Boschman said thanks, everyone. So someone that went through a pretty major surgery is appreciating your get wells. Give a couple prayers out to him so we can get him up and running quick. He's got a date to go bird hunting and fishing with Kohler, Mormon, and myself. Okay, anyone can answer this. Why are we concentrated in the MAG 7s or the MAG 11-ish? Some of those ones that are around those positions. Because that is where the fire is burning. I love that answer. Anyone else, though? Why are we concentrated in those positions for our portfolios? Love it, because that's where the money making is. Correct. I'm going to say 80%-ish of the last 3 years, the profits came from these stocks. 40, boy, I just forgot. Don't quote me, but I think it was 46%-ish of S&P 500 growth this year is from 11 stocks. So the question is, why wouldn't we be in these stocks? Yes, we are in Bank of America. Some of us are in JP Morgan. We've got Walmart. We've got Boeing. We've got Lockheed Martin. We've got some other ones that are there. Verizon is there. JEPI for some income. O for some income. Yes, we have some other positions as well. But for the most part, we are where the money is at. We are where the money making is happen. The reason why we didn't switch brokers is because we had so much hassle getting in and out of positions with Schwab. Biggest mistake when a Trade Monster got bought, I should have ran over to Money Block and we'd have even better returns. But we're in these ones right here. And yes, thank you for reminding me. We're not in Amazon either. But I've got concentrated positions in these positions here. Apple, Nvidia, Micron, Google, Meta. We're in these positions because we're trying to pick the best of the best. Microsoft we're not in because it's oversold and it keeps running. Again, but we saw a doubling of Meta. I mean, we're doing the best we can, but we're trying to focus on where the money is with some diversification around what's making money. That's the short answer. Well, Kevin, we weren't in oil under Trump, and we're not in oil under Biden either. Trump flooded the market. Biden believed in alternative fuel sources, solar, electric. Again, we're trying to put together the best pieces of what's happening. We're not in positions that don't have the growth that we're looking for. All right. What I did want to go through really quickly, what a wild day today was. We started up looking like we were going down, hit some new highs above 6,400, came down where we were only down slightly, but the last half hour market dropped off. Worried about the CPI numbers. If we get good CPI numbers, then our expectations are we do not have a worry about getting a rate cut in September. It's funny because a quarter point rate cut will probably not do a whole lot. I actually thought that if inflation started going up, you'd want to cut rates, right? No, inflation goes up, you actually raise rates. So they're checking to see if the tariffs have raised inflation. Tomorrow, the CPI numbers will be a big number. If we have tame CPI numbers, meaning basically instead of seeing it change from a, I don't know, from a point, 0.3 to going up to a I don't know, 0.8 or something like that. If we have pretty tame numbers, then our market will most likely take off this week like it should have today. So that's what we're waiting on. We're truly just waiting on, will the CPI numbers come in at 0.02 or will they come in at 0.05? Will the core number come in at 0.03 or will it come in at 0.05? If we have meeting numbers, if we have numbers that are not taking us way out of our comfort zone, here we go, tomorrow. If we have decent CPI numbers, 0.2 and 0.3 for the CPI and the core respectively, our market will probably take off tomorrow. Well, won't we have one other CPI numbers before the middle of September meeting? Yes, but these will be good numbers for Jackson Hole later on in the month. Of course, the Fed chairs all have to go up to Jackson Hole and hunt and fish, but good CPI numbers will mean the gains that we should have had today, up as much as 0.4% that I saw, will probably come tomorrow. Look tomorrow morning, the CPI numbers will move our markets around, I'm pretty sure they come in at 10 o'clock. They come in, I'm sorry, before the market opens. They come in an hour before the market opens, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So our futures will be running off of CPI numbers tomorrow. Taking a look at our markets in general, actually, I had a very interesting article sent to me. All historical trends are no longer working. This strategist says retail investors are completely battering Wall Street. Can someone tell me, if all historical trends are no longer working, what does that mean for all the models as well as all of the what would I say? All of the models that are out there trying to map the S&P 500 and all of the financial plans. What does that mean if the historical trends are no longer working? Mod, I thought retail is not big enough for us to change things. Very true. Confusion, they're screwed. Correct. It's kind of funny because retail investors cannot really move markets. We are truly not big enough versus institutional. So what the article of Mod, thank you for saying this because it gave me the end that I was trying to show people. It's not retail investors. It's that the market historical trends the Buffett number that we're going to fall, all the volatility numbers, the scare numbers, they're not working. And it's not working for a positive versus a negative. But all those people that are in 40, 60 growth models miss out every 4 out of 5 years. They don't get the same growth of the S&P 500. It's not a great model to be in. All of the financial plans that are based on compounding interest don't work because the market doesn't give compounding interest returns. All the trend models are not working because we should be due for a serious 30% correction or more. That's what the models are showing. Well, when you have zero interest for 10 years and the rate cuts that we had and the fiscal stimulus, all of the models are, as so was eloquently told to us, they're screwed. They don't work. The funny thing is, and Maud caught on right away, all historical trends are only working. This strategist says retail investors are completely baffling Wall Street. We're not big enough to baffle anyone. Yet right now, that is the blame at why their models are not working. It's a very interesting article. Big picture, bull market booms with valuation warnings in sight. We so far are past historical valuations that we should have sold off a year and a half ago. We're really not, yeah, that makes no sense. High valuations, the highest in history, aren't necessarily sell signals, but they raise the stakes for bad news. Well, last year and every year previous in the market, high valuations were definite sell signals. But this year, they're not. The P/E ratio for the S&P 500 is 22.2% or 33% premium to the 25-year average. 24.2 is a 32% premium to the 25-year average. But this time, it's not a reason to sell. It doesn't mean a crash is imminent. Guys, you have to be doing your own research. Dow Jones, we're actually slightly below the RSI as a sell signal. The MACD gave us sell signals 3 weeks ago. Our crossovers are right on top of each other. So we haven't had all three crossovers, but we did get the golden cross middle of July. So we're looking for the next 3 months, an 8.3% gain, I believe, is what we typically look for. S&P 500, bullish as well, even though technically we do have crossovers on the MACD. We do not have technical crossovers on the S&P, on the averages or the RSI. But again, golden cross down here at 5,800-ish. We've gotten our 8% plus return in the next 3 months. A question was made, people are limiting market activity possibly due to tariffs. You would think so, but the volumes are still there. We don't have limited activity because of the tariffs. We have limited spending, but not limited stock market activity. The NASDAQ also still looks bullish. Same thing, technical crossovers. We've already well surpassed our 8% on that one. We're closer to a 15%. 9, 1, 2. Now we're about that 8%, almost 8% for the technical crossovers there. Again, I would think August would be a down month. I'm slowly changing my tune. Again, looking at the S&P, we are up for the month right now. Doesn't mean I think we're going to hold it till the end of the month, but our stocks are doing phenomenal. This week, not much by way of earnings. CPI numbers on Tuesday, PPI numbers for inflation on Thursday, retail sales on Friday. I have some interesting articles that I'm going to let you guys read. I will get this posted tonight. Trump vows 100% tariffs on chips. Those companies are building in the U.S. I have the Apple's Tim Cook convinced Trump to drop Made in USA iPhone for now. Interesting article on Trade Desk tanks 39% for worst day ever on CFO departure and competition. Yes, there are still times when stocks lose 35, 40% on earnings all the time, or on news for that matter, which is why we trade the way that we trade. Let me one more time. Let's make this easier. I just wanted to go through a couple of Apple, not bad, touching 200, up at 227. Yes, we are looking because it's just touching oversold or overbought, excuse me. We're just looking now at possibly adding protection onto Apple. So let's do a quick run through positions and then I'll go ahead and I'll answer any questions. Boeing had a good earnings, couldn't hold its gains, but it's still heading higher. Bank of America. Had its downturn, trying to get above the 50-day. Get above that 50-day, it should take off nicely. Let's go with the big ones. Let's go with Micron. Last 2 weeks. What a nice run by Micron. Back up to 127. Someone keeps asking me about fully valued. I'm going to work through full value numbers on a couple of our stocks here in a couple of weeks, and I've got gold to go over with you guys here in a couple of weeks. NVIDIA just keeps marching higher. Love the chart. Google just keeps marching higher. Love the chart. Meta, huge run up, great earnings, keeps marching higher. Is there anything any of you guys want to see that we've talked about? Lockheed Martin not marching higher the way it's supposed to. Pretty decent earnings, but the market wasn't excited about Lockheed Martin's earnings. All right, any questions you guys have for me? I've been with you for about an hour tonight. Any questions you guys have for me that I can answer for you? If not, Bosserman, keep getting better. I'm looking to run out to Oregon next week. So I might be doing this from Oregon. My son was named captain of the college soccer team and will be playing on TV. So Keith might actually do next week. Then the week after, I'm trying to do a gold teaching part for the first 15, 20 minutes. Any questions you guys have that I can answer for you? Lee, glad to see you here today. I know we're trying to struggle with GoToWebinar and getting their emails out to you. But Lee, I'm glad to see you here today. Vicky, glad to see you're getting over COVID. Thank goodness you made it today. All right. I don't see any other people typing questions. Guys, have a good evening. I will work on getting this posted. Appreciate you guys being here. Thanks. Thank you very much. And we will see you next Monday. Most likely will be Kyiv. All right, Lee, I'll keep working on it. Thank you, sir. Good night, everyone. Bye-bye.